Hey bag lady, today I'm going to be talking about Suede Cording, my coalition bag, Essex linen fabrics. The book review will be for the new Hexagon. I'll show you how to add crochet binding to areas of a bag like handles or straps, and I have a great giveaway at the end. I'm Sara Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey bag ladies, thanks so much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday. It's still light outside right now. It's 7 o'clock here in Chicago, which is really nice. I'm enjoying the weather, and we had some sun today too. So hey Priscilla, joining us on Facebook. And there's also some ladies that I saw on YouTube. Hey Tamara. Thanks so much for joining me today. And just as a friendly reminder, just about everything that I talk about during Sewcial Sunday are things that I've purchased myself. So these are not things that I've gotten paid to talk to you about, but they're just cool things that I found that I want to share with you. And also as a reminder, the links to the products, patterns, fabrics, and whatever that I'm talking about during Sewcial Sunday, that's all linked to in the description. So just click on that link if you're interested in finding out more about anything that I talked about. And if you have any questions, either sewing related, bag related, sewing tool related, ask your questions in the comments, and I'll try to get to as many questions as I can live later on in the chat. So the first thing on the docket tonight is the notion of the week, and it's not technically a notion, but I thought it was cool and I still wanted to share it with you. So this is Suede Cording, and I purchased it last year on Etsy. Recently when I was in a Michaels store, I found this cording in the jewelry making section, so you can find it at your local Michaels if you don't want to purchase something on Etsy. So I've got my pouch, and this is where I store all of the cording, and this is suede, but it's not real suede, it's faux suede cording. Let me jump out all the colors. So I got a big pack on Etsy, and these were all the colors that were in the pack. And this is nice to use for zipper pulls. So my friend Christy from Rock Baby Scissors gave me this idea, and she used some of this cording for zipper pulls, and you can also use other materials, fake leather, cork, if you want to cut it yourself. I prefer the cording because it's obviously already measured, and this cording is 1/8 of an inch thick, also known as 3 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a couple pieces of the cording to put on my zipper pulls on this Creative Maker supply case. So I think I'm going to choose, I think this is a pretty good match. So I'm just going to cut a couple pieces that are the same length, and you'll just be tying the knot at the end of the cording through the zipper pull. And I'm sure there's lots of creative ways to tie a knot, but I'm not a former Girl Scout, so I don't know of any other different ways. So I'm just going to tie these in a knot and have them as the zipper pull. So really fast and easy, adds a little bit of extra color to your projects. And I think I purchased all of this, all these spools of cording for about $30. So when you break it down, they're pretty inexpensive per spool. And like I said, if you find them at Michaels or something like that, they had single spools that I saw in my local Michaels store. So anyway, yeah, that was really fast and easy, and it looks kind of cute on the ends of the zipper. So that's the suede cording, and I'm going to throw these back in my pouch. But again, if you're interested in finding more about the cording, I have a link to the Etsy shop where I purchased mine from. So just click on that link and it'll take you to the Etsy shop. Okay, so this past week, starting on Thursday, I was teaching in Kansas City. So I was teaching my Amethyst project bag pattern, and I think there were about 20 students in the class. I was teaching for the Kansas City Modern Quilt Guild, and it was a ton of fun. The guild meetings are really inspirational. I always enjoy going to teach and sit in on the Quilt Guild meeting because the show and tell is my favorite portion of the meeting, and everyone brings, well, not everyone, a good amount of the people attending bring projects up on the stage and show something that they finished recently. So a quilt, I think mostly I saw quilts. I saw a little accessory project. It was kind of like a needle book. It had a space for scissors and thread. It was really cute, but it was a lot of fun at the meeting. I did a lecture on interfacing. When I do a lecture / trunk show, I bring lots of bags that I've made, and I talk about bag interfacing, and everyone attending the lecture gets a little charm pack of 11 different products that I use when making bags. So I explain the different interfacings, I pass along samples, and answer a lot of questions about interfacing, because it's hard to know sometimes, especially when you look on the internet or go into the store. It's just a bunch of white bolts on the shelf, so it's hard to know what to use for certain projects that you have in mind. So the workshop I did yesterday in Kansas City was for the Amethyst project bag. There were a few ladies that finished the project during class, and everyone else was really close to finishing near the end of the pattern. So it was a lot of fun. Everyone had a great attitude during the class, and I went home really happy, made a bunch of new friends, so it was a lot of fun. Let me see what else was I going to talk about during that. Oh, regarding classes, I want to know, and let me know in the comments, have you ever taken a sewing or quilting class? Just let me know yes or no, and if you feel like elaborating, let me know what kind of class you took or what kind of classes you like to take. So while I've taught a lot of classes, I haven't taken any that I can recall, but I always I get the newsletter from my local quilt shop, and I always peruse the list and dream about the different classes that I would take if I had a little bit of extra time. So I would definitely take classes because I like to learn different techniques. So for instance, machine quilting, I'd love to take a class in. Some more hand sewing, because I enjoy hand sewing, but again, I can always improve. So love to take a class on English paper piecing as well. So let me know in the comments if you've ever taken a sewing or quilting class. All right, so the fabric of the week that I wanted to show you is, I have this big stack of Essex linens over here, and I'll show you in the side view what they look like. So the Essex linens are made by Robert Kaufman Fabrics, and they certainly, the camera does not do them justice. They look much more amazing in person, but this is my favorite color, and this is called Fog. This color is called Fog. So it's a woven fabric with bits of metallic throughout the fabric. So let me throw a few other ones on the screen. I don't remember all the names. I remember the names of my two favorites, Fog and Oyster, but this is a black, and this has silver metallic threads throughout the fabric. I think this is the Oyster. This is sort of a beige fabric with gold metallic in it, and I'll throw a few more on the screen. And here's a black with gold metallic thread. So these are really nice for a number of different projects. I'm going to show you one in just a second, but the great thing about it is because it's woven with the metallic thread, it does a really good job. If you find a thread color that's close, it does a really good job of hiding the stitches, so you can't even see the stitches in the finished project. Here's one more. This doesn't have metallic, but this is just sort of like a denim color. Okay, so let me put these to the side, and I'll show you. I'm going to pull a big bag up on the table. So this is my Coalition bag, and I used that Fog Essex linen metallic for the straps, the tabs, the side strap as well. And Danny's going to put this back up on the side view just so I can show you the handle right here. Let me put that closer to you so you can see it. But anyway, you have to look really hard, and I certainly can't see the stitches, but that's the really nice thing about this, especially if you're not a super straight stitcher, and I'm certainly not a perfect stitcher either, but yeah, you can't even hardly see my stitches on this, and they really just blend into the fabric. So that's another cool thing about the Essex linen metallic. So this is my Coalition bag. This is the duffel size, so the large size, and this is one of my favorite bags. I actually haven't used it. I know it sounds silly, but I just love it so much. I just want to just look at it and not that anything would happen to it, but I just want to keep it just like this, and so I have it right now in the living room just so I could stare at it. So this is the Coalition bag made with some of that yummy Essex linen. All right, so this is the portion of the chat where I'm asking all my bag ladies to stand proud and let me know in the comments if you're a bag lady or want to be bag lady. I saw in my Facebook group today someone posted their first Baker Street bag, their first bag that they made, so they said they were a first-time bag lady, so I thought that was awesome. So I love to see that. Let me know in the comments if you're a bag lady and be proud about it, or bag dudes, because we've seen a few bag dudes pop up recently in the Facebook group and through emailing us, so welcome to the bag dudes as well. All right, so while I was in Kansas City, I got to meet up with a couple of friends that lived in the area. So on Thursday night, I had dinner at a Mexican restaurant before the Quilt Guild meeting, and my friend Bree, who I've known since the beginning of my sewing journey, and that's me and Bree up on the screen. Danny just put that picture up on the screen. But I met Bree when I very first started my blog, before I started designing any bag patterns, and she had sort of a monthly inspiration on her blog for a book by Amy Butler called Style Stitches, and this was my very first introduction into bag making. For the whole year, every month we sewed a different bag from the book because there were 12 bags total, and that was certainly an important step in my bag making journey, and I've known Bree all this time, and she brought me this adorable pouch that she made because she knows that I love Disney fabrics, and I'm going to have Danny throw this up on the side view so you can see this up close. Upon first glance, it just looks like a regular pouch, but when you open it up, it's got two separate compartments, and I thought that was so clever. It's sort of got like an accordion look on the side, and I just love the pockets on the inside. Bree sells these in her shop. It's called My Crafty Crap, and I love the little Mickey trinket on the zipper, and she used, I believe this is a zipper end from Emmeline Bags. So I love this pouch so much, and I'm so happy it's mine. I'm going to put some of my, I think, cosmetics in there and keep everything divided up. So that was meeting up with Bree on Thursday night in Kansas City, and I think it was Friday. Yeah, Friday in the afternoon and into the evening, I was lucky enough to have the chance to go-karting with Tulip Ink, and Danny's going to throw a couple of pictures on the screen. That's me and Tula. It was a rather serious go-karting course, and so we had to wear, it reminds me of the little socks that you put on when you're trying on shoes, but we had to put these head socks on our heads, and we had to wear these huge helmets. There's the head socks again. Don't we look adorable with those head socks on? But yeah, it was really serious, and the go-karts were going way faster than I thought, and my back's kind of sore from being jostled around in the go-kart. But I think I got 4th place in the first race. Tula beat me in 3rd place, and we went with her family, which was a lot of fun. We had lunch beforehand, which may or may not have been the best idea, you know, eating a big lunch and then getting jostled around in a go-kart. But Tula and I did 3 races, and the rest of her family did an extra race. So they did, sorry, me and Tula did 2 races, and they all did 3 races. So it was a lot of fun, and yeah, a great time while I was in Kansas City. Great time teaching, meeting up with friends, and yeah, it was just awesome. All right, so now I'm going to get over to the book review for this week, and this is probably one of the books that I've used the most. So I've had the book for, I think, about 1.5 years, but I want to talk about it. So I'm going to step over here and show you the new Hexagon by Katja Merrick. And this is a book full of templates for English paper piecing. So there's instructions on how to get you started with English paper piecing, the basics. So what kind of tools you'll need if you've never done English paper piecing before. And this is hand sewing. So I do this mostly in the summer. I haven't worked on this project for a while, but it's great to do when I take my kids to the pool, or if your kids or grandkids are in any sports, this is great to take along. And the book is all templates. So these are, because it's hand sewing, there's no seam allowances that need to be added. The book is all templates, as you can see. So I'm going to show you my project in a second. And I also want to let you know that the project, I mean, there's a couple quilt projects in the book to work on, which is great. But the thing that I love the most about this book is that there's a free quilt along on Facebook called the new Hexagon Millefiore Quilt Along, and I put a link in the description if you're interested in finding out more. But again, it's just the templates in the book. The quilt along is free, but you need the book to participate in the quilt along because you need these templates in the book. And let me just show you a little printout. All the instructions for the quilt along are on Facebook in the Facebook group. Like I said, the quilt along is free. This is one of the rosettes that I'm working on, and a layout for it. But again, you need those templates in the book. And let me just show you what I was working on from the book. So this is the 3rd and most recent rosette that I was working on. And I don't know, Danny, if you can you zoom out a little bit maybe? All right, Danny's gonna zoom out a little so you can see more of my hand sewing. But I'm working on the rosettes by color. So this is all green. It's all Tulip Ink fabric, and I'm trying my best to choose lights and darks so that there's contrast, so it's not just a blur of green. So this is the green that I was working on. It's not quite finished yet. I have another row to add to that. Let me pull another one out. This is my purple one. This one's completely finished. And I just love the stripes that kind of make a sort of a star shape on here. And the biggest one and the first one that I started, I did some pinks and greens in this one. So this is sort of the middle part of the quilt. So I can't wait to finish this. I started it over a year ago. I know it's going to take me a while because it's all hand sewing, and I'll show you the back too so you can see. Here's all the seams. So I'm not the most proficient at English paper piecing, but it's fun, and I don't care if it's perfect or not. So I just have a lot of fun, and I have a lot of fun handling all these pretty fabrics while I'm working on these projects. So I'm going to sit back down, but I highly, highly recommend that book, The New Hexagon by Katja Merrick. And I've gotten so much use out of that book. Danny, can you put it back on the... All right, Danny's getting a little distracted. There we go. Thanks, Danny. All right, so anyway, that's one of my very favorite books. Before I started using that book, I attempted English paper piecing once or twice, but that free quilt along on Facebook, the New Hexagon Millefiore quilt along, was what really inspired me, because I saw all the projects people were posting in the Facebook group, and I knew I had to make that quilt no matter what. So the best way to get better at something is to do it a lot, and I certainly did a lot of hand piecing with that English paper piecing project for the New Hexagon. So it's been a lot of fun so far. All right, so the technique that I wanted to show you tonight, and we're going to pop back over to the side view again, is for adding this crochet binding to handles or straps. So I did a little piece right before the chat, and it would be great for little handles like on this pouch. Hold on. Okay, sorry, we're going to get back in. There we go. It would be great for little handles like on this pouch, or if you wanted to make longer straps with this crochet binding. But let me show you what it looks like. I purchased it from Vintage Door, and they have a great Etsy shop with all of this crochet binding. So they have some solid colors. Here's the pink that I used in the strap. So basically it's got the crochet on the ends where it's folded over, and on the inside it's pressed like double fold bias tape. So you can just insert this the fabric into this crease and then top stitch in place, or hand sew if you prefer. And let me show you some of the other designs that they have. So lots of choices. The polka dots are great. And I also got a tube of these floral bias cut fabrics as well. All right, so let me just show you really quick how I attach this to the handle, because I think it looks really pretty and it was really easy, and I did it by machine. So what I did first is I pressed this fabric. So I wanted my handle to be 3/4 of an inch wide when it was finished. So I cut this strip 3 inches wide. I pressed it like double fold bias tape, so in half, wrong sides together, opened it out, and then I pressed it in toward the center crease, and then I pressed it one more time, and that enclosed all the raw edges on the long edges of this handle piece. So next what I did was I top stitched 1/8 of an inch away from the long edges, and that just kept the layers held down so I could add the bias tape very easily. And then I just went ahead and cut a couple of strips of the bias tape a little bit longer than my handle piece. So yeah, I just cut 2 just like that. And then I used my Wonder Clips to hold each piece of the bias tape in place. So it's really easy to add. In fact, I didn't add any interfacing to this handle piece, because once the strap is finished, that extra bias tape gives it a lot more stability. So I found that it didn't even need interfacing in it. Okay, so all I did was slapped some Wonder Clips on it, made sure that handle was in the crease of the bias tape, and then I took it over to my sewing machine, and all I did was I sewed 1/8 of an inch to the inside all the way down, so on each side. And because the bias tape is so perfectly pressed, I got a really nice finish on the front and the back. Like, it looks the same on the front and the back, which usually doesn't happen with me. And I think it looks pretty, and I think it's really a nice bit of visual interest, and not having to crochet all these yourself is a huge time saver. So anyway, that's the bias crochet binding from Vintage Door Fabrics, and again, the link is in the description if you're interested in finding anything more about that. So I'd like to invite you, if you enjoy these Sewcial Sunday chats, if you're watching on Facebook and you enjoyed tonight's chat, please hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll be notified of future live chats and also of new sewing tutorials that we post over on YouTube. All right, so I have a question for you since we were just talking about that bias binding. If you're a quilter as well, do you bind your quilts either by hand, by machine, or if you just plain don't like binding? Because I know some bags use binding to finish the edges, usually in the lining, sometimes on the exterior. So let me know in the comments if you enjoy binding either by hand or machine, or if you just plain don't like binding at all, that's okay too. So when I first started making bags, I hated any kind of hand sewing, including binding, but I've grown to love it, especially since I started doing some of that English paper piecing like I showed you with that new Hexagon Millefiore quilt that I was working on. So I've grown to love hand sewing. I don't mind it at all. It's nice to sit in front of the TV and get some hand sewing done. So yeah, that's my answer to my own question. All right, so our giveaway for last week, the winner was Trisha Harvey, and I've already contacted Trisha and I've heard back from her. Trisha won the Craftsy class from Namaste Embroidery that I showed last Sunday. The giveaway for this week we'll get to in a second, but I just wanted to take some live questions now. So if you have a last minute question that you'd like me to answer live, either sewing related question, bag related question, question about a tool or a notion, let me know in the comments and I'll answer some questions live. And also a reminder, our live show this Tuesday. Hey Violet, can you pass me something back here? Yes. Okay, come on over here. Violet's going to pass me the clutch that we're going to be showing a video for this Tuesday. The Fox clutch, can you pass that to me? Thanks, Violet. All right, so if you're around this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time for Ask Sara, I'm going to be showing a live video how to make this clutch. It comes together really quickly and easily, and it's got these awesome metal handles, the cutout handles, and these are easily installed with screws. So that's on the docket for this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I hope you'll join me for that. And Danny's going to put some questions on the screen for me to answer live. So
oh, I switched the wrong one.
Oh, that's okay. Pat said, I love the RK turning tool. So last Sunday I talked about the RK turning tool. Let me grab it just so I can show it on the screen. Anyway, I still haven't found a source for this turning tool, but I'm still looking so I can carry it on my website because it's one of my favorite things that I have in my stash. All right, Danny, go ahead and put some more up there. All right, Liz wanted to know, I started watching the Ansel bag video today on my tablet. The video skips. Any suggestions to fix this? So that's a really great question. So any purchased videos like the Ansel camera bag are hosted on my website, and our service provider for those videos is a company called Vimeo. So if you're familiar with Netflix or YouTube, those two web services automatically adjust to your internet speed. Vimeo currently does not. So if you're watching one of the Vimeo videos on my website, you can lower the video quality to adjust to your internet speed. Maybe your internet speed is normally fast, but maybe today it's a little bit glitchy. So you can lower the internet speed on the Vimeo video. There's the word Vimeo at the bottom of the video screen on the video that you're watching, and there's a little toggle icon, so it looks almost like a tire. It's like a circle. So you click on that and you can adjust to as low as 360, and even at 360 the video should still look great. So I would suggest lowering the quality of the video, and then you should be fine from there. If not, feel free to email me. My email is right above the video and I can help you out further. All right, let's get to some more questions. Linda wanted to know, do you use faux leather for binding?
Oh, cool. She linked a picture with her thing and it shows the picture.
Oh, Danny says she's linking a picture of what she's talking about. Okay, so I've never used faux leather for binding, but I'm not opposed to doing it. I guess I just haven't seen the need so far. But the nice thing about using the faux leather for binding or another material that doesn't fray is that you don't have to press it like double fold bias tape like they did for this crochet binding. You could just have the 2 layers of the fabric and leave the edges raw. So that's really interesting, Linda. Thanks for asking that question. Patty wanted to know, I was looking for the snap setter and saw you were out. Will you be getting more in? Yes. Actually, because we've been talking about the snap setter the last couple weeks, I did a video on how to use the tool, as well as I used it in my Oslo craft bag for the snaps on the side of the bag. we kept running out of the tool. So this weekend I had to order more. I've already been in contact with the company. They're shipping me another box out tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have it Tuesday. So we'll get that snap setter tool as well as the hammer back in stock, I'm hoping, on Tuesday, and I'll be relisting it on my website as soon as it comes back in. So yeah, we were just surprised at how many people were interested in it. I mean, it's a cool tool, but I wasn't expecting the response that we got. So we'll have those back in hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday. Pat wanted to know, will the clutch be on your website? Yeah, this clutch, it's a free pattern already on my website, but when the video goes up, we'll post that on YouTube, Facebook, and on my website. So we'll do our best to make you aware of the free video for this in case you missed the live chat on Tuesday. Jennifer wanted to know, do you have a source for the pearl snaps that you talk about? Yeah, you can find them on my website, sewsweetness.com. There's a graphic on my main page for notions. You want to click on the notions tab, and you can see all the notions that we stock, including the snap setter tool. We sell replacement snaps and metallic finishes, as well as the snap setter hammer, which a couple people emailed me about this week. I talked about the hammer, and I showed, I think, the 3 screws that were inside the handle of the hammer. They let me know there's actually a 4th screw, like a really tiny one, in that very last, in that 3rd screw that I was showing. So I didn't even know that, so thanks for letting me know about the extra screws in the hammer. That's super useful. All right, another question, do you have any shrinkage issues when sewing with 100% cotton thread? Does the thread shrink as you iron fabric while constructing a bag? I haven't personally noticed any shrinkage, especially when assembling the bag from using the cotton thread. I usually like to use the Orthel 40 weight thread, which is 100% cotton. If you're concerned about it, you could use polyester thread, and some polyester threads are cotton thread wrapped with polyester, so that's another option as well. Mac wanted to know, do you have a wallet pattern? I do currently have one wallet pattern. It's called the Greenbacks Wallet Trio. You can find that on my website. It's one wallet pattern, but it has 3 different wallets to make, and I think I sort of alluded to a sneak peek. I'm working on several wallet-ish accessories for a big project that I'll be posting later in the year. So I have, all right, Danny's telling me to be quiet. I've said too much. Sarah B wanted to know, where do I get the metal piece, oval piece for the bag? So you can find this on the website emmelinebags.com. She sells it in, I think, 4 or 5 different finishes. So this is the nickel, which looks like silver. I think there's a rose gold, copper, a gold, maybe a gunmetal. So a few choices on her website, and she also does bulk orders too for if you're shopping and you find tons of different hardware on her site, which you want, which may be possible because she's got a huge selection. Melissa wanted to know, I purchased a Teflon foot for faux leather and cork. I used it, but I am having steering issues. What can be done for that? So recently I started using my knee lift. If your machine has a knee lift, you might want to use that. You can also, if you're finding you're not enjoying using the Teflon foot, you can also use a walking foot for sewing with the faux leather or the cork. So the walking foot will work as well. Christine wanted to know, can you use those handles with the lunch bag? That's a great question. I had the lunch bag in here. I'm not sure where they went to. But I had a lunch bag pattern. Oh, Violet, you want to go grab it? It's on the couch. Violet's going to grab the lunch bag so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, you can use these for any bag. So if you have like a tote bag or a market bag that you want to have cutout handles on, it's really easy to adapt to any bag, because all you do is decide on the placement for the handles. You cut a hole and you install the handles. So Violet's got, this is the lunch bag that she was talking about. So yeah, if you wanted to use those metal cutouts for this handle, you would just ignore the instruction in my handle. This is the Minikins morsel lunch bag. But you would just place these metal handles where you wanted them to go, and instead of sewing according to the instructions, you would just cut through both layers of the fabric. And after Tuesday's video, if you wanted to use that to adapt the morsel lunch bag to have the cutout handles, you sure could, and it would be really easy to do that. Connie wanted to know, do you carry the handle for the clutch in your shop? No, but you can find it at emmelinebags.com. It's my friend Janelle. She designs bag patterns as well, and she's got the best hardware selection in my opinion. She's in Canada, but I feel like even for the US customer or worldwide customer, the postage is really reasonable, and I usually try to get a big order in at once so I can get my hardware fix from Emmeline Bags. Lisa wanted to know, I've noticed several cork projects that are lined. Do you treat that the same as regular lined projects, right sides together and turn? Love the Cork Club. Thanks so much, Lisa. So it depends. I'm not sure if you're referring to the eyeglass pattern that I posted using cork. Some ladies have started lining that with cotton fabric, and I believe the ones that I've seen, the cotton fabric was cut raw, so you could either cut it raw and leave it. You can cut the cotton fabric for the lining maybe using pinking shears, or you could treat the cut raw edges using maybe like a fray check fabric. Also, for a bigger project, you certainly could sew right sides together and turn. For a smaller project like the eyeglass case, it might be easier and quicker just to leave it raw, but feel free to experiment, and I'll do my own experimenting, and I'll post some pictures or ideas for sewing right sides together a cork with maybe like a quilting cotton for the lining. Kathleen wanted to know any new Sizzix dies in the works. I do have one new die coming out in spring, so I think that means late May, early June. It's just for one project, and I think I'll have maybe another couple dies coming out in October. I'm not 100% sure yet. I haven't put my thinking cap on yet for the fall dies, but there's one die coming out in spring, and that'll be late May or early June. Della wanted to know how long after we order an item will it take to ship in the US. So we ship 5 days a week during the week. If some kind of emergency comes up and we have a huge amount of orders, we'll ship on the weekend. Also, we ship using the cork, at least goes priority mail. Most of the other products goes first class. So priority mail, according to the USPS website, 2 to 3 business days, and first class a little bit longer. And again, it depends on the quickness of the postal service once it leaves our hands, but our mailman comes 5 days a week to pick up packages, and he also comes on Saturday if we have any, if I get up on Saturday morning and get some packages together. So much more in store. Hey, Nicole. So much more in store. That's Nicole, and she was hosting me for the retreat in Kansas City, which was so much fun. So we went, I think we had 2 dinners together, a lunch together. We went to Barnes & Noble before I went to the airport, so it was a lot of fun. So Nicole's question is, I want to make the lunch bag peas and corn, but want to make it with the wipe away waterproof fabric for the interior. Do you know what that special interior fabric is called? I do laminate fabric, sorry. I needed just a minute. Laminate fabric, so you could either purchase fabric that is already laminated, like it's manufactured that way, or Pellon makes like an iron-on product that you can use to make a regular quilting cotton into a laminate. Another option is if you're in the US and you live near a Joannes, most of them, at least my little one does, has a diaper making section, and they sell the polyurethane, the PUL fabric, and that's also water resistant, and since it's made for babies, it's also generally food safe, and it comes in solid colors. I've gotten pink, green, and blue before, and I've noticed a few prints. So at my Joannes, I've seen that in by the yard PUL, and I've also seen it in packs of like 3 different prints. So that's another option. So either the laminate or the PUL would be good to use for the inside of the lunch bag to make it a wipeable product. Elaine wanted to know, how should I clean the cork? So the cork fabric that I saw in my shop is water resistant. You certainly could put it in the washer and dryer, because Danny and I have tested it out that way, but since it's water resistant, I just recommend using a damp cloth and wiping it down. It is treated by the manufacturer with a UV protectant to keep the color nice and bright. The colors do not run, but the UV protectant keeps the colors nice and bright, and a Scotch guard. So the manufacturer treats the fabric before it arrives to us with both of those products to make it really durable. Kaylee wants to know, was that a Zeppelin pouch you store your cording in? Yes, I threw it on the ground, but it's right here. This is the Zeppelin pouch, one of the minikins. It's the one that I made during the video, and I made this using Tulip Ink Slow and Steady fabric, so I super love this print. But yeah, this is the Zeppelin pouch. Sandra wanted to know, have you thought about doing a sew along for a project? I've done them in the past on my blog. I'm currently trying something out with the minikins, so every month we're having a contest with the minikins. The March challenge is for the Sidewinder pouch. which is this guy right back here. The Sidewinder Pouch is the March challenge. So the challenge that I'm trying with the Minikins is every month I choose a different project from the Minikins. And I have a linky tool on my blog, and a linky tool means it's a little button that you can hit to add your picture to the collection of photos. And people have been posting their Sidewinder photos, and I'll have a drawing at the end of March for the Sidewinder Pouch, a random drawing for a $100 gift certificate. If you have an idea for a different sew along, let me know either by emailing me or let me know in the comments. And I super love sew alongs. It's just sometimes I'm not good at thinking up grand schemes for hosting sew alongs. So if you have an idea, let me know, and I'll try to get on that if I can. Myrta wanted to know, have you played the ukulele lately? Will you be making a strap for a guitar anytime soon? Yeah, guitar strap is on the top of my list. I kind of got sidetracked when I remembered that I had this clutch that I had made some time ago. I am going to do a guitar strap, I promise. I've sort of fallen off track with the ukulele playing. I wanted to learn how to play. I tried to find some YouTube videos because Myrta suggested that, you know, looking up a YouTube video to learn how to play, and I just, I don't know, I didn't feel too motivated by the YouTube videos. I think I need to find a teacher to teach me in person, to, you know, for me to actually go to a class. So I'm going to try to do that. Maybe, well, it's getting warmer in Chicago, so I'm going to try to do that pretty soon, I think. But the guitar strap, maybe we'll do that next Tuesday. What do you think, Danny? Good idea for next Tuesday?
Cool.
Yeah? Okay. Mac also had a question about the cork. Is your cork from, I think that got cut out, but I'll answer the question because I think I knew where you were going. The cork fabric comes from Portugal. There's a really cool, maybe we'll show, I don't think we could show the video, but I'll post a link maybe next time to a really cool video that I found on YouTube on showing how they harvest the cork. So they use these really huge, like curved blades, and they just kind of bring the blade down like the side of the tree, and it takes the outer layer of the cork from the cork tree off, and the tree stays alive, so it doesn't kill the tree when they take the cork off. But it's just like a huge sheet of cork that comes off the tree, and they wash it in hot water, and they bond it to a cork and polyester backing, which is the backing on the cork fabric, which is a really cool process, and it makes it really sturdy and durable. And it's really interesting that the cork can still live, the cork tree can still live for hundreds of years while it's being harvested with cork for fabric and other things. So I thought that was really cool.
Sarah, is the link to Emeline Bags in your blog post on your website?
Oh, okay. Danny wanted to know, and in case you didn't hear him, if the link to Emeline Bags is in my blog post. It's not, just because I wasn't expecting to answer that question. But maybe I'll go back as soon as the live show's over and I'll add it. But it's Emeline Bags, EMMALINE bags.com. So that's a good source for hardware. Another question, why don't you use measuring zippers on your bags and a fancy zipper head to make a different type of look in the zipper? Yeah, that's a good question. I like that pouch that Bree made me. It's really got this really interesting zipper pull on it. I don't know. I guess I just have to find a good source for the zipper pulls, and I'll add some of them to my zippers, or maybe tassels. Maybe doing a tassel video will inspire me to start adding extra things to my zipper pulls. All right, are there some more questions? Oh, I see another question coming through. Roxanne wanted to know, a comment, not a question. Yeah. You carry the best cork. I've purchased from others, but I find yours is so easy to sew. Well, thank you so much for letting me know, Roxanne. I always appreciate feedback. We do test the cork a lot, but it's always good to know that they're working out for your projects, and I certainly like to use it in mine, and I feel like it's something that makes it special and not something that everyone else has. So thank you for that comment.
Oh, it was the fabric, the cat fabric.
Which cat fabric?
The one.
This?
I'll go back to it.
The fabric on your, where you showed it, where you put the zipper pull.
Oh, that cat fabric. Okay, let me grab it. This cat fabric is designed by Tulip Ink. It was, I think, a couple lines ago from the line called Tabby Road. I believe you should still be able to find this in shops, and it came in, this print came in 3 different colorways. So there was a blue background with cats on it, and there's also like a mint background with cats. But I love this one the best because it's so bright because of the orange. But Tulip Ink, Tabby Road. Joni wants to know, what size rivets do you use? My favorite size rivet is 8mm. I also purchased and tried using 9mm. And it was just a little too big for most of the bags that I make. But 8mm rivets, I buy mine from Minkus Margo. She has a website, minkusmargo.com, or on Etsy, her shop is also Minkus Margo. There's other sellers that sell rivets and rivet presses. That's just where I got mine, and I thought she had great customer service, so that's why I continue to buy from her. Yeah, Connie had a comment. Yes, please do a tassel video for cork and leather tassels. I certainly will. I think the hardware for the cork and leather tassels is available from Emmeline Bags. I'm fairly certain, so I'll have to get some of those. Pat wanted to know, is it too late to join the Cork Club? Unfortunately, we've temporarily had to take Cork Club out of stock just because we had to replenish our supplies and we needed time to get those additional supplies cut, just because we're getting ready for the second month of Cork Club coming up April 1st. The reason, it was a tough call, but the reason we decided to take it out of stock for now is because we didn't want future customers to encounter any delays with getting their shipments. I didn't think that was fair. So rather than having people wait, having new subscribers wait or experience delays, we just decided to take it out of stock until we can get back on track and make sure that we can fulfill the orders right away for that. All right. Can you do a video sometime about how to install purse feet? I sure can. It's super easy. Purse feet are really inexpensive and a snap to put in. So I'll put that on my list for a future video. Thanks for that suggestion. Pat wanted to know, would bags look funny with cork tabs and cotton handles? Let me think. Cork tabs and cotton handles. Were you thinking maybe the same color, like maybe both black, like maybe like a cork black tab and maybe a seat belt handle? That would be cool. Or cotton webbing, or even quilting cotton. I think it would look fine. I don't see a problem with that, especially if they're close to the same color. Yeah. Donna wanted to know, when citing out your patterns, how much of the black line should show? How accurate do you need to be? Oh, okay, when cutting out your patterns, how accurate do you need to be, where to cut on the black lines? I don't have a pattern piece handy. I would just recommend doing the best you can. I'm certainly not perfect at cutting out fabric. I find that bags are more forgiving than other things like garment sewing or quilting. I feel like quilting, especially if you're piecing, you need to be as accurate as possible. Bags are pretty forgiving, so just get as close as you can to cutting the outside of the black lines, and I think you should be fine. Let's see, can I send you some of the fancy zipper head and zips to try out? Yeah, sure, I'm always game to try out new stuff. If you want to email me, my email is sara@sewsweetness.com, and Sara spelled with no H, so just SARA @sewsweetness.com. Marlene wanted to know, what size needle do you sew with cork? I use a Schmetz Microtex needle for that. Depending on your machine, you might want to use a different one, but I've had really good luck with the Microtex needles. And Connie wanted to know, will you be doing a vinyl or faux leather club in the future? Yes, especially I think glitter vinyl. I for sure wanted to do one. It might not be a club just because we don't have, for cork we have 80 different varieties, or more than 80. Glitter vinyl, we've got 22, and I'm not sure how many on the faux leather. It might be 12, so those might be a 1 or 2 month for those, shorter club, but that's a great idea for that too. All right, we're going to take a couple more questions. Lagina wanted to know, what brand and weight of thread do you typically use? Grab it from back here. I use Aurifil thread for bag making. I like 40 weight thread. 40 weight is on the green spool. This is the 50 weight thread on the orange spool. The numbers go in reverse order, so the smaller the number, the thicker the thread. So that's why I like the 40 weight thread, but I've used 50 weight in a pinch and it was fine. I haven't had anything bad happen, like you know, bag fall apart or anything like that. Donalda wanted to know, where do I get the minikins? Great question. Minikins, and these are 2 of the minikins. 12 projects with videos to go along with them. Just go to sewsweetness.com. In the middle of the page, there's a big graphic for online workshops. Click on that and you'll see the minikins right there. And if you want to see the rest of the projects, after you click on that minikins link on my website, we have a trailer video in there so you could see all the projects. I open up all the projects and show you the insides. I talk about the different features. So You can see photos as well as the trailer video on my website. Just click on the online workshops picture in the middle of the screen. All right, so let's get to the giveaway before I forget. So the giveaway for this week is for 4 rolls of cork fabric. So I went down and chose 4 rolls before the show. 2 of the new prints. So there's a feather print right here. This one is called, I forgot what I called this one. It's got butterflies and flowers and warm colors, purples and reds. Teal cork, which is sort of a greenish blue, and charcoal, which is one of my favorites as well. So 4 rolls of cork. All you have to do to be entered into the giveaway is to let me know what size is your favorite ruler. Let me know in the comments, and YouTube's now changed so the live comments don't go away after the chat, so you can answer right now on YouTube or on Facebook, wherever you're watching. My favorite size ruler is this 12-inch by 6-inch ruler. I tend to get confused. I have a ruler with it's 24 inches by 6.5, and I get confused with that extra that extra half-inch added on. So I like my good old 12-inch by 6-inch ruler. I have 2 of these just in case I lose one. I use this a ton for marking squares and rectangles and all of that. So let me know in the comments what your favorite size quilting ruler is. And just as a reminder, I hope you'll join me on Tuesday we're planning a video for this clutch with the cutout handle. We'll be showing that live on Tuesday. That's at 7 p.m. Central Time. And thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday. I'll see you again next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Happy sewing.